Hello, welcome to my kitchen design workshop. My name is Saru, and I'm glad to have you here today with me. This is a workshop for beginners, for students, and those who are interested in learning details of designing a kitchen. So if you're ready, let's get to it. All right, the topics of this discussion is definition of a kitchen, what needs to be in a kitchen, and where a kitchen should be located, especially if you are designing a home and you're thinking of where to place your kitchen, or maybe you are remodeling and need to relocate your kitchen. So that gives you some information on that. And I'm going to talk about how to design a kitchen like a pro. You will learn what goes in each cabinet, basically, and talk about the technical details of designing a kitchen. What is a kitchen? Kitchen used to be a woman's place. We know that it was the case that from the past that men would hunt and women would prepare the meal. So it's called the woman's place, but it's been changing throughout history and in today's life. But we have it, uh, historically, a place where women would do the work. So in the West, if you're looking at this colonial woman preparing meal and not necessarily meal, maybe she's having some water boiling for bathing or laundry. So this fireplace performs so many uh, different function, as you would say, for this family. Colonial homes were very small, so maybe one room at most. And sometimes, if you were rich, you probably have another room in addition to it. In that room, everything happens. They sleep, they bathe, they eat, they cook, all in between. Okay. In the East, we and uh, not necessarily Middle East, and I'm going a little further to Oriental. You will see separate rooms or separate buildings for or uh, the cook to prepare the meal and bring it to the family. Um, so these two photos, these two women playing with fire, that's probably very similar. Um, the kitchens gets a little modern, but still, if you look at the old photos of the East, and don't look at the outlets, there are some updates on these photos, but you see how things would function is with pots and pans and some other stuff. Um, and again, this could be another building separate from the home. This colonial woman, or maybe the type of a downtown abbey, maybe she's in a basement preparing as the food looks. It's probably so. And I'm getting hungry here. But again, but it's this is a very dangerous situation for women as well, because look at the size of a fireplace and think about those long skirts that would catch fire and will be a very dangerous threat to the cook. Okay. Um, with the Industrial Revolution, we have more products that are coming out, particularly for in a kitchen for to ease the job. And in the East, and I should mention, not only those big fireplaces are hazardous. Those this is in the east. If you look at the picture on the right, you'll see that to the bread making fire that would be in that well. Sometimes they were big, and sometimes women has to kneel and do the job, and some will they would catch fire as well. So yeah, both not good practices, and I don't like to work with that industrial stove either. So anyway, and okay, got there. Sorry. Um, So we get to where in the past where the kitchen where look like. Now we have a gathering place. We have the heart of home. You know, homes that have better kitchens designed sell more and faster, and those who are poorly designed. We have kitchens that are not gathering place. And discussion place maybe. So it's very important to care about it, and it's always been. Um, it used to be in maybe 50s, until 50s and 70s, a separate room with a door. Sometimes the young generation would not imagine, but I remember those days that the kitchen would have a door, and you would get into that room. And yeah, those walls are now outdated, and in most homes, especially with the size of the homes today, you have it all removed, and we can't get to the open kitchen, which is not necessarily a bad thing. If you look at the old photo that I put up here, basically the main purpose of the kitchen was the stove. Yeah, it's also very old looking, and probably um, not a great one either. But look at the new kitchen designs. Today, kitchens are not for just making food. They are gathering place. They're where we socialize, where we do homeworks and projects, yeah, and other things that might come along. Oh, look at that TV up there too. So entertainment as well. All right, good thing. Um, so again, a kitchen has become a place for family. You can tell sometimes when you go to someone's home and you get into the kitchen, you can tell if that person cooks or care about how careful they are about the kitchen or eating or things like that. Um, when you see a very engaged kitchen. So another thing with the open kitchen concept, they have this dirty and messy and smelly situation where some people might not find it so cool. So for that matter, and it's sometimes it's cultural, sometimes it's something that it just happens to be that way for a person. We have a backside kitchen. So you can imagine in mansions we have a backside kitchen where the maid would only cook there, and we are avoiding all the messiness and the smell on the front. Okay. Um, How to design a kitchen? Well, the first thing, and it's not particularly about a kitchen, you have to interview your client first. Or if you're designing for yourself, you have to sit down with yourself and ask what you're really looking for. In many places where they sell cabinets, you'll find some questions. and they're a good start. I'll tell you this. They're a very good start, but don't limit yourself to those questions. You might find questions that are more specific to your client, and they're not put into those questionnaires. So be prepared to ask question. Um, I think I'm going to attach some of the questions to this lesson. Um, Here's an example, and I tell you why I tell you who you have to know who you are designing for. It's researchers show that women and men cook differently. I mean, they use the kitchen, and it's generalized. I'm not being sexist or defining a person by a gender, but this is a general rule. Women like to have more stuff in the kitchen and than men. Men can cook with fewer stuff, and they like it to be placed where they can reach it or find it. Look at the photo of this on the right. You will see that shelves with and cabinets with open cabinet door kind of a look. So it's easy access for them. And this woman with all these cabinets, all the stuff that she can put in, she's happy. Okay. All right. Another thing, and it goes under how we proceed on the interview, is finding the needs and the lifestyle. If you're designing for a family, of course, it will be different if you're designing for a bachelor. You probably don't need to have the many cabinets in a bachelor type or a small apartment than in a big house. And sometimes big houses have different things that small houses don't. And sometimes it's cultural. Some people like to cook. Some people don't are not into it. So you need to ask and find out what kind of lifestyle your client has to be able to design for them. As a designer, you also need to know your limitation and the location of this stuff. So, and I said limitation, and because they are limitations, but they're not something that wouldn't be possible to pass through. They're challenges. You need to think about it and come up with ideas of how to yeah, overcome that. And we discuss this more in detail in next video.